So first of all, I want to say that it's a good thing that you've had this fear of responsibility, because one of the most important things for leadership and for positions is actually integrity and responsibility, right? Understanding that when you're put in a position, you automatically become responsible for it, and you then must fulfill that responsibility, right? And so if you feel the weight of it and if you understand it, I think that's the first step in you completing it. So it's good that you feel that way initially. It's good that you naturally, kind of shy away from it, and you're careful about the responsibility you take. So I think it's a very good kind of position to be in, as opposed to the other position, which is, I don't really care, I'll just do it, or this or that, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing I would say is that I just want to share with you a little bit about my own experience. I kind of felt like this was probably maybe 10 years ago or something. I felt like a lot of the time, like I was very strong, alhamdulillah, when it came to like leadership and doing things and this and that. But even though I was strong, I was kind of like, I knew that I was good to do it, but at the same time, I wanted people to come to me and say, "Oh, Muhammad, come on, you're a good leader. You do it for us. You be the leader." And I'm like, no, I shouldn't do it. And just like this kind of drama and this kind of stuff going on in my head, where I was like, I kind of wanted to do it. I thought I'd be good at it. But then I was like, no, and this and that and this and that. And I remember I went to Sheikh Muhammad Sharif's Niche Hero course, and I discovered this pattern about myself. And at that point, I was a bit surprised that was my pattern, where I was like, yeah, I thought I'd be good for it and this and that, because I just felt there was a lot of drama going on when I should actually be focusing on making a difference and having an impact. And so at that point, I kind of decided, I said, you know what, from now on, I'm not really going to be that kind of guy who like shies away from things and makes a drama about, oh, please ask me to do it, and then I will do it and I don't want to do it. I just said, you know what, from now on, I'm going to be a person that steps up and takes responsibility. And I think that was a really, really good decision for me. Because once you make that decision, first of all the decisions after that get easier, because you're like, look, this is just who I am now. I'm just going to take responsibility. I'm just going to do the things that need to be done, right? And so for me, I feel like I made that decision, and then after that, I just got into action mode, and I stopped caring about what anyone else thought. I stopped caring about people pushing me forward to do things, and I just took more responsibility myself. And I think that when you do that, there's a real sense of confidence that comes from it. There's a real power that comes from it, alhamdulillah. And so I would actually advise that you work on being that person that fulfills that responsibility, rather than not doing it and being that person that worries about fulfilling the responsibility. Right? And of course, there's going to be times when you fail. There's going to be times when you don't do it. You need to learn the lessons. You need to apologize. You need to rectify mistakes and all of that. But ultimately, you need to know that if you want to make a difference, if you want to have an impact, then unfortunately, you will have to take responsibility, and you have to do it. And so with that being said, again, it comes back to like being clear on your vision, being clear on your mission, and just being like, yeah, I do have to take responsibility. I do need to do it. And I think that as you start to do it bit by bit by bit, you'll start to get more and more comfortable, right? It's like a normal fear. Like as you start to expose yourself to that thing more and more and more and more, then like the better it becomes. And it reminds me of my daughter. She was kind of like scared of going into the sea. Right? So, like open water, they're always talking about sharks and all those kind of things. And so my daughter, she was very scared of going into the sea. And I said, look, you gotta just come and stand in the sea. Like, don't come into the water, right? Just put your feet in it. So she came up to where the waves just kind of crash onto your feet. So she's there, and I'm like, look, it's fine, there's nothing, look how deep I am, you're not even that far. I'm like, just come a step forward a bit more. And then so she comes a few steps forward, and then I'm like, look, you're up to your knees, and it's not even nothing there. Look, you can even see the water, it's so clear. And then getting her to come forward more. And then after a while, she came in, and she was just like playing with me in the water. She's fine. And about half an hour later, I reminded her, I said, look, you said you were really scared to be in the water, but look at you, you're here in the water and this and that. And then she kind of like, yeah, but you're here and this and that. But the point is that as she kind of, did more and more of it, she became so comfortable where she kind of forgot her fear. And I feel that this is what will happen to you. If you start taking that responsibility when it needs to be fulfilled, then I feel that, after a while, you're not even going to realize that you're being responsible. right? And so for me, what I would say is that obviously I wouldn't advise that you go forward for every single position and you push other people out the way. And you know, I was talking to Sheikh Dr. Bilal Phillips, right? And I asked him this question about leadership. I'm like, oh, there's a paradox in my mind, because it's like, you know, we're supposed to be like leaders and we're shepherds and all this stuff, but at the same time there's hadith which basically say, you know, don't go after leadership, and like, what's the deal? And he said, look, the hadith that talk about that are those kind of situations where everyone's kind of vying for leadership and they're stepping over each other and they're putting people to the side and they're doing all this kind of stuff, and that's what it's talking about, right? So I'm saying for you shouldn't be that kind of person who's pushing everyone out the way. But I'm saying if you see a situation in front of you which is basically there and no one's stepping up and it needs a responsible person to come and do something, then I would say you need to be that person to do that, right? And you shouldn't even think twice about responsibility and this and that, because again, if you're thinking too much about responsibility, you're not doing responsibility, right? And so I would say that in a situation like that, if you see that there's a need in the community that you can fulfill this and that, I would do it. Of course, remember I said to you that the guide should be your mission. So for me, alhamdulillah, I feel I could help people in so many different areas of their lives with different things. But I'm quite clear on what I want to be doing and what the most important thing for me to be doing is. So if someone contacts me and says, oh brother, I need 10 minutes of your time for this, if it's completely off what I'm doing or my thing is, I would rather put that to the side and focus on what's important to me and to my mission, inshallah. So in the same way, I would say, like, look at responsibility, look at the things that align with your mission and everything you're trying to do, and then go after that, and make sure that your intentions are right, make sure that your intentions keep getting renewed, keep getting checked and all that, make sure that your behavior is correct, make sure that you're doing the right thing, and just keep going, bro. Like, don't think about responsibility, just get on with it and do it and fulfill the responsibilities that you have.